There comes a moment in life, a quiet, unassuming shift that doesn't always announce itself with fanfare or warning. It creeps in after sleepless nights, broken plans, and repeated attempts to fix what just won't bend. You've been doing more, haven't you? Hustling, grinding, meditating, journaling, manifesting, praying, planning, throwing everything you've got into creating the life you envision. And yet, nothing moves. You look at the sky and whisper, why isn't it working? Here's the raw truth. You've been trying to force alignment with clenched fists, but the universe doesn't answer fists, it answers surrender. As Shi Heng Yi once said, what you resist not only persists but grows in size. So while you've been affirming your future, deep inside, your energy has been screaming, I don't have it. I'm not enough. I'm scared. And guess what? The world listens to your energy, not your words. That's why your efforts aren't manifesting results. Not because you're lazy, not because you're broken, but because you're stuck in survival mode, trying to control what was never yours to command. Here's the hard pill to swallow. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. When your entire identity is built on chasing, fixing, solving, your life becomes a reflection of the very emptiness you're trying to escape. But here's where the magic begins. The most powerful move you can make right now is to stop. Stop grasping. Stop pushing. Stop proving, not from fear, but from faith. Not from weakness, but from wisdom. Because when the doing stops, the becoming begins. When the noise dies down, the unconscious awakens. And when you finally stop interfering, the psyche begins to heal, the shadow starts to integrate, and reality aligns on its own. This isn't the end of your effort, it's the beginning of your surrender. This isn't giving up, it's giving in to something deeper, something timeless. Let go. Watch what happens. Are you ready? Life often feels like a series of battles we must fight against time, against circumstances, against ourselves. But what if the battle isn't real? What if the struggle is just a mirage created by our desperate need to control outcomes? Think about it. How many times have you chased success, love, validation, or happiness, only to find yourself running in circles? You visualize your dream life, repeat affirmations until your voice goes hoarse, and yet, nothing changes. Why? Because beneath all the hustle lies a deeper truth, one that Shi Heng Yi understood profoundly. He taught us that transformation isn't found in relentless action, but in stillness. In facing the parts of ourselves we've buried, ignored, or rejected. In understanding that the external world mirrors the internal landscape of our being. If your inner self is fragmented, wounded, or operating from scarcity, no amount of effort will change the outcome. Why? Because the universe responds to vibration, not intention. Let's break this down further. Imagine someone standing in front of a mirror yelling, I am beautiful, while their body language screams insecurity. What do you think the mirror reflects? The words or the energy behind them? Exactly. Your affirmations, your goals, your desires, they're just surface-level expressions of a deeper truth. Until you address the root, until you bring your unconscious wounds into the light, your manifestations will remain hollow echoes of what you truly crave. Take love, for example. Many people chase relationships thinking they'll fill the void inside them. But ask yourself, is it really love you're seeking, or is it the fear of being abandoned again? When you obsess over wealth, is it truly about money, or are you still trying to prove your worth to those who once made you feel small? These desires aren't random, they're signals pointing to unresolved wounds within you. They're spiritual assignments inviting you to turn inward and confront the shadows you've been avoiding. Shi Heng Yi didn't teach us to chase dreams, he taught us to turn inward, to ask, why am I chasing this in the first place? Because sometimes the thing you're chasing isn't the real desire, it's the band-aid for a deeper wound. Real power lies in integration, in holding space for both your light and your shadow. Only then can you step into wholeness and magnetize experiences that reflect your true essence. So how do you begin this process? By letting go, not as an act of defeat, but as an awakening. Detachment isn't apathy, it's the quiet confidence that says, I've done what I could, now I surrender what I can't. True transformation happens in surrender, not obsession. But let's be clear, surrender doesn't mean scrolling Instagram and saying, I don't care anymore, while secretly checking your phone every 5 minutes for updates. The unconscious doesn't respond to your words, it responds to your vibration. If your energy still screams, I need this to feel whole, then life will continue showing you all the ways you're not. Detachment is the absence of dependency, the inner knowing that says, even if this never comes, I am still enough. And here's the paradox: when your energy aligns with that truth, that's when everything begins to flow. Not because you forced it, but because you stopped resisting it. Life bends for those who are already whole, not for those begging to be completed. Now imagine stepping into the void, the space between letting go and receiving. It's terrifying, isn't it? There's no map, no proof, no external feedback to assure you that you're on the right path. Just silence. Deafening silence. But here's the secret. The void isn't punishment, it's purification. It strips away everything you were depending on: external validation, the illusion of control, the addiction to outcomes, until the only thing left is your truth. And when you reach that place, when you stop chasing and start becoming, the universe listens. Because energy never lies. Remember, you don't attract what you obsess over, you attract what you've made peace with. So the next time you feel the pull to chase, pause, not out of laziness, but out of mastery. Take a breath, close your eyes and ask, what part of me still thinks this thing will complete me? Because when you realize you are already whole, that you're not missing anything, not broken, not behind, something powerful happens. The obsession dissolves, and in its place comes calm clarity and actual magnetism. You stop needing the world to prove your worth, and ironically, that's when the world starts responding to you differently. The ego wants control, the soul wants peace. That part of you constantly checking your phone, refreshing your inbox, rereading conversations, asking, why hasn't it happened yet? That's not your higher self, that's your ego. The ego hates the unknown. It craves certainty, the illusion of control, to feel safe. And if it doesn't get it, it spirals. It catastrophizes. It floods your nervous system with panic and labels it intuition. But that's not intuition, that's insecurity. That's unhealed fear dressed in urgency. Shi Heng Yi saw this internal war clearly. He taught us that the human experience is a constant tension between the ego and the soul. The ego demands proof, the soul whispers truth. The ego says, I need to control this so I don't get hurt again. The soul says, I've already survived worse. Let's flow. Here's what most people never learn. The ego seeks outcomes, the soul seeks alignment. The ego needs to know how it's going to happen. The soul only needs to feel that it will. Because the soul operates outside of time, it's not chasing, it's remembering. Shi Heng Yi once wrote, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And here's the plot twist. Who you truly are isn't the version of you panicking. It's the version beneath all that, the one that already feels complete. That version of you isn't scared of silence. It isn't measuring its worth in text replies, followers, bank balances, or timelines. It breathes deeper, speaks slower, moves with grace, not urgency, because it knows everything meant for you will arrive, and it will arrive on time. Divine time, not yours. But to access that version, the real you, you must learn to pause when panic rises. Interrupt the pattern. Ask a simple yet powerful question. Is this coming from my ego or my essence? If it's pressure, anxiety, desperation, that's ego. If it's peace, ease, surrender, that's soul. This doesn't mean stop dreaming. It means stop clinging. Stop suffocating your manifestations with fear. Desperation is noisy, but alignment is silent. It doesn't beg, it doesn't chase, it simply becomes. So if you're in a moment of doubt right now, don't add more noise. Don't drown yourself in distractions or self-blame. Close your eyes, place your hand over your heart and ask, what would the healed version of me do right now? Then do that, not because it guarantees the outcome, but because it anchors your truth. Remember, you're not here to control, you're here to co-create, and you can't co-create from a place of panic. You must choose peace even when it's uncomfortable, even when there's no proof, even when your ego says, this still isn't working. Because when you choose peace over pressure, that's when reality starts to shift. That's when you're no longer just a passenger in your life, you become the architect. Peace is your compass. Follow it, and everything meant for you will follow you. Shadow work is manifestation work. You can't call in abundance while rejecting the version of you that's scared, angry, ashamed, or insecure. The universe doesn't just respond to your goals, it responds to your wholeness. Wholeness means facing the part of you you've been running from your entire life. Shi Heng Yi called it the shadow, not evil, not darkness in the Hollywood sense, but the repressed self. The parts of you you buried to survive. The fear you silenced, the rage you swallowed, the guilt you pretended didn't exist. the unworthiness you dressed up as ambition. Most people think manifestation is about scripting, visualizing, and raising your vibration. But real manifestation, lasting, grounded, soul-aligned creation doesn't come from fantasy, it comes from integration. Every time you obsess over love, it's usually not about love, it's about a wound screaming, if someone loves me, maybe I'll finally feel enough. Every time you hustle harder for money, it's not just about ambition, it's about a core belief saying, I'm not safe unless I have more. And here's the trap. If your manifestations are rooted in shadow, in lack, fear, trauma, and unworthiness, then what you create will reflect that. You'll manifest a partner who triggers your abandonment wound. You'll manifest money that vanishes as fast as it comes. You'll manifest success that feels empty and draining. Why? Because you attracted it through a fragmented self. That's why Shi Heng Yi's work is so important. He taught us to bring the unconscious into consciousness, because until you do, it controls your life, and you call it fate. So the real question isn't, how do I attract more? It's, what inside me still believes I don't already have enough? That's where shadow work begins. It's uncomfortable. It asks you to stop blaming the world and start looking inward. To stop pointing at what didn't happen and start asking, what part of me wasn't ready to receive it? It's not about shame, it's about ownership. It's about holding space for all versions of you, the light and the dark, and saying, you're allowed to exist, you're allowed to be seen, and you don't have to control me anymore. Because once your shadow is seen, it no longer operates in the background. It no longer pulls strings behind your back or creates chaos just to get your attention. You take your power back, and in that reclamation, your frequency changes. You no longer manifest from fear, you magnetize from wholeness. That's not wishful thinking, that's quantum alignment. That's nervous system safety. That's you becoming the version of yourself who no longer needs the world to fix what your soul has already healed. You stop forcing, you start allowing. You stop proving, you start radiating. Because now you're not asking the universe from a place of lack. You're becoming a version of you who already feels like it's done. And that inner reality is what bends the outer world, not scripting, not vision boards, not chasing signs, but deep, grounded, fierce integration. This is the work, not the glittery, Instagrammable version of spirituality, but the real work. The work that makes you look in the mirror and say, I've been trying to manifest my future without making peace with my past. Not anymore. Now you stop running. Now you go inward. Now you face what's been silently directing your entire life. And when you do, the illusion breaks, the power returns, and your life begins to mirror your wholeness, not your wounds. That is manifestation. That is individuation. That is freedom. If even one line in this video cracked something open inside you, don't scroll past it. Don't let this moment dissolve into your feed like every other piece of content you half watch and forget. Because this wasn't just a video, it was a mirror. A moment, a message you were meant to find not by accident, but by alignment. As Shi Heng Yi once said, we meet ourselves time and again in 1,000 disguises on the path of life. Maybe this video was one of those disguises, a reflection, a nudge, a spiritual checkpoint reminding you that you're not here to chase the world, you're here to return to yourself. So if you felt that shift even for a second, comment below. I let go, I align, I receive. Not for attention, not for likes, but to declare to your unconscious, this time I choose alignment over obsession. I choose self over survival. I choose becoming, not begging. Hit like not to feed the algorithm, but to anchor this energy into your nervous system. Tell your psyche, this moment mattered. I am different now. Subscribe if you're done with surface level hacks and temporary motivation and ready to dive into Shi Heng Yi truths that reconstruct you from the inside out. This isn't a channel, it's a journey, a path for souls ready to remember. And above all, share this video with someone you love. Someone who's lost in the loop, chasing everything except themselves. Because Shi Heng Yi also said, your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. This is your moment to awaken, to turn your attention inward, to stop seeking and start seeing. Because in a world obsessed with more, stillness is rebellion. Presence is power. And sometimes doing nothing is the most courageous act of becoming. Breathe, feel, remember. You're not manifesting, you're remembering. And your return starts now. Welcome home.